Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. There's so much to cover. Let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go, go, go. I'm starting off this morning with an email I received from one of my subscribers. Her grandmother's sister, Beryl, I think it's called, Beryl, born on May 6, 1935, and got a sterling silver commemorative cup from the Silver Jubilee of King George V and Queen Mary. This child apparently also passed away age 2. Thank you very much to my subscriber, Carol, for sending me this. It's very interesting. Next up, I want to thank my subscriber, Debbie, who made me this bag. How freaking cool is that? I love it. That's my new go-to bag for the year for carrying things. And I also want to give a shout out to this subscriber of mine who sent me this fabulous note. Apparently, she has this exact same item. So, I was notified there was a package. I opened the box. This was inside the box. I removed the wrappings. This is the box that was inside of that box. Then I open it up, and this is a warmer plate. You know, you plug it into the wall and it keeps your coffee warm. And then I was like, okay, well, where's the coffee cup? You guys, that's right. Coffee cup with a crown. I'm going to be drinking my coffee out of that from now on. All right, moving on. All right, we're going to start off now with never be seen for pictures. Now, what happened was when King Charles was invested as the Prince of Wales, the crown he was wearing was specially made. But of course, you know, as with all big family events, they had a professional photographer come in and take multiple pictures of King Charles, and they were just released. I think they're fabulous. I love looking back at this. Moving on. Here we go, the Beefeaters. 35 warders have been decked out in a new outfit, of course, you know, with the new change that marks the new monarch. It's the king's initials, just in time for the coronation. Officially named the Yeoman Warders of the Tower of London. This is an outfit the monarchs, the guards have worn with the monarch's initials since 1570, since Elizabeth I was on the throne. How cool is that? Now, the uniforms were made by 40 tailors, and they've created uniforms for many members of the family. Each coat took over 30 hours to complete, and they are reported to be quite heavy. Now, in order to get that job, you have to have been in the Army for at least 22 years. You have to hold the Long Service and Good Conduct Medal, and you have to have reached the rank of warrant officer or equivalent. Then you get invited for an interview. There is a religious and a rigorous selection process. And as things are moving forward, you know, they're getting busy at the tower. Now, before anybody says anything, you should know that these were paid for by the Historical Royal Palaces charity. And that charity is run by the Tower of London. So no, it's not a massive hardship. Now, those jackets are worn with blue trousers, a red and blue hat, and buckled shoes. And by the way, the name Beefeater came from the daily meat ration that they used to get for their duties. Pretty cool. All right, moving on. Next up, Sarah Ferguson accepted the Golden Heart Award at the Women Changing the World Awards for service and humanitarian work around the globe last week. I am very glad to see she's being productive. Next up, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, opened the Portal Center for Social Impact at the London College of Fashion. Of course, she showed up looking quite fashionable. So what this is essentially is a new community-focused training center for fashion. The center was able to open because a £4 million grant was received from the Portal Trust. There were some representatives there during the visit. There's 10 years of social responsibility, they're saying, the article says, at the College of Fashion. The fashion programs are in partner with Newman College, and they're mostly for people, women, in the local communities and ex-offenders. And the Portal Trust has been around, just FYI, since 1748. That's pretty cool. And it created and supports 2 technical institutes, a nautical college, and a student hall of residence. Very nice. Next up, it appears that the Duke of Edinburgh, Edward, is in Toronto. He's doing a working visit to Canada where he'll attend events focused on youth, reconciliation, and the Duke of Edinburgh Awards. Very nice. I'll keep an eye out for that. Next up, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, was there when 25 sailors were welcomed into the naval family formally. Princess Anne took the salute and presented training prizes and service awards while the families, of course, watched from the sidelines. And she said it's nice to welcome a new generation of sailors. And she also recognized the 6 senior ratings for nearly 200 years of service. Fabulous. Moving on. Next up, we know it's Anzac Day, and the Duke of Gloucester laid a wreath at the cenotaph in London today. I think after all this time, it's wonderful that he's still able to, get out and do his duty for country. Now, the royal family also wanted to pay tribute Australia and New Zealand, but they couldn't get out. So instead, they posted pictures of them doing that for the last few years, since they're not doing it this year. That just goes to show you that, they're not ignoring things. All right, next up, William went and did an Anzac wreath laying also in the very early morning hours in London. He was visibly moved, and he laid his wreath at the Australian Memorial at Hyde Park Corner in London. The ceremony was organized by the Australian High Commission in conjunction with the New Zealand High Commission. Now, Anzac Day, in case you don't know what it is, it's to commemorate Australians and people from New Zealand who have lost their lives in conflict, and it also recognizes all of them that have served in the past. The very first day, the very first time this was done, was in London. King George V attended the first service at Westminster Abbey in 1916, which marked anniversaries of landings during World War I. It is considered to be a public holiday with Australia and New Zealand, and apparently there are multiple ceremonies being held in multiple places. The Australian and New Zealand commissioners were there. They also laid wreaths, and William signed a book of remembrance. Very nice and touching. All right, let's move on. Still sticking with William, it has now come to light that the Prince of Wales settled a phone hacking claim against the Publisher News Group newspaper for a large amount of money. William did this in 2020 after he brought a legal claim against the owners of The Sun and the News of the World. So this was private. So how did we find out about it? Because the details of the settlement were revealed in legal documents that Harry submitted as part of his legal fight with the same publisher. He said the Queen was personally involved in the secret agreement between Buckingham Palace and the Rupert Murdoch News Group. So there he goes, maligning his grandmother again. And the agreement meant that members of the royal family would not make legal claims over phone hacking until other court battles had been completed in exchange for an apology at a later date, he's alleging. Now, the news group is claiming that any secret agreement with the palace didn't exist, and it's a lie, and Buckingham Palace isn't commenting. And this all came into light on Tuesday during the 3-day hearing in London, that we all know about. So there you go. So what he's saying essentially is the royal family is blocking him from suing. I also feel that what he's saying is, well, William got a large, substantial amount of money. So I should get a large, substantial amount of money. I think that's what this really comes down to. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think he and Meghan are running out of money. The deals are over. The stuff is drying up. Any way they can get their hands on it. Now, I have to agree with Angela Levin. Harry completely invaded William's privacy. This was a confidential agreement, and it proves that Harry can't be trusted. That's why the family is not communicating with him. I mean, this is the most crazy thing I've ever heard of. I mean, unbelievable. All right, let's move on now. Moving on, remember I told you that Meghan brought up once again this whole racism narrative, right? But she's trying so hard to act like she has nothing to do with it. So here you go. Gayle King, Morning News, talking about racism, talking about, reparations. This is what's going on. We all know it. Oh, God, she'll never stop. And I completely agree with Dan Wooten. The fact that they let this narrative run and they let the Queen pass away without correcting that narrative, something that cannot be fixed now, you can't fix that, is unforgivable. You guys know exactly what I'm saying. All right, let's move on to one of our bigger stories for today. Everybody's talking about Meghan Markle. Did she have surgery? And insinuating that the changes that were made, she's trying to look more like Kate Middleton. A big thank you to Blink Twice Harry on Twitter. Meghan's sources came out and said, no, she's just lost some weight. She's not using Botox or fillers. We all know that's a lie. But here, let the memes begin. Harry's gray suit. Thank you to Joe Coco on Twitter for this one. And a big thank you to the Prince and Princess of Wales for this one. And then they took them and put them together. Oh my, oh my. Now, when she gave that speech, thank you to Lady Marie of Denmark, the outfit she was wearing, right? There's the same outfit from 2018. And where can you find this outfit? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Walmart. Next up, everybody is saying that Meghan's new look is trying to be a power move like Gwyneth Paltrow. We all know what that means, don't we? Power move, get rid of Harry. Harry has now become like the noose around her neck. Her brand is being held back by him, supposedly. Let's see how that works out. All right, now we're going to move on to what happened. Unbelievable. So Harry and Meghan decide to go watch a basketball game. Okay, and everything has to be on Meghan's terms. So they're sitting there, they're watching the game, they're enjoying themselves. And then, of course, there was a chance to give a kiss on the kiss camera. And Meghan said, no. For those of you who don't know what I mean, here you go. She knew the camera was watching them. The lights were on. She's running it, rubbing his face. She's talking to him, trying to look like, they're so happy and they're such a together couple and everything is just so fabulous. They were inside a box with only Archewell staff, no friends. That would probably be because they don't have any friends, in my opinion. Anyway, it was a ridiculous amount of money to splurge for people who are so hard up on cash. Or maybe they spent some of that $10 million in Archewell that they're supposed to be giving out to the charities. Right? They don't have to give it. It's earmarked for their use if that's what they want to do with it. So that's probably what paid for this splashy evening. But the point is, look at Harry's face now. When Harry wasn't paying attention, he looked miserable. Here's the kiss cam. Here's how it was seen, the whole embarrassing scene from the entire arena. So from that point on, Harry sat back and looked to be completely miserable. He just sat there watching the game, paying no attention to me. He had just been humiliated in front of the entire stadium. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal to lean in. I mean, we know they're not shy. We've seen them kiss at very awkward, inappropriate times. So, I mean, I really feel bad for him. I really do. And then people were looking at all of this and they were saying, if you really look at Harry, Harry looked, what's the word? Harry looked very anxious. So it's their usual behavior. Harry, we need to go out. We need the attention. Harry, people have to remember that we're in love. Remember, we're in love, Harry. We're so happy. We're the happiest couple in the world. Remember that. And we need to reflect that out in public, okay? So all this stuff is going on. We need a diversion. Now, heiress Kayla Rockefeller. Yes, we all know, if you're an American, you know the name Rockefeller. She's a billionaire. And she stated in an article that their popularity has plunged because she's controversial and it's too much for the public eye to handle. And I completely agree. Now, she does a jewelry line and she said, I would not want Meghan Markle wearing my jewelry line because I wouldn't be able to take that kind of chance on such a, quote, contentious figure. Yep. She also claimed that most Americans are over her and are over Harry. I agree. I agree with Angela Levin. They're trying so hard to show that they're so happy and in love and they're giggling like teenagers, but it's not real, it's phony. And they're playing up to the public. Remember, these are two that we want our privacy. Give us our privacy. It's like it says in the article, they're playing a silly game. It's over the top and they're trying to show us how wonderful and what a great time they're having. We all know it's not real. We all know it. Now, of course, when it came time to leave, they had their bodyguards. Now, the guy in the front seat, I believe, is the guy that beat up his wife and has a criminal record. So we know that they don't vet their help too well. Anyway, they got in the car and look up and smile, Harry. The cameras are out there. Look happy, look happy. It's like, I'm telling you, I think my prediction, she's going to announce their divorce on the day of the coronation. Watch that. All right, you guys, you know what I want. I want your opinions. So put them down there and make them good because I'm reading them. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the button, double check and make sure you're still subscribed. Don't forget to go into the description box and you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, and a physical address in case there's something you want to send me. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.